to the end of this 5-year eSPLOST, we would have to start taking money out of eSPLOST to finish the project, which we've done. So now our fund equity is really below the recommended 15% is what they want you to carry in case another economic downturn, something goes on in the state, president makes some changes in funding, so on and so forth. Because it's public education, you have to have school. So that's what filled in that $28 million worth of buildings is that. So coming into this eSPLOST, we're looking to pay ourselves back to get that fund equity back where it should be, about $4 million. 4.3 is what we've allocated. And all these are estimates. You don't know until you really get to that point. So that's $4.3 million. And the top project that we have going forward is the James E. Bacon project. Okay. The first question out of people's mouths that I've heard is, why don't you build new? You built 4 new elementary schools. Why doesn't James E. Bacon get a new elementary school? Well, that's a great question, and the simple answer on that is it's math. Again, we anticipate generating $16-17 million, and that's not guaranteed. To build a new building, the state's only going to participate. If we built new, the state's going to participate out of the entitlement program about $1 million is what's projected. All right, and then you earn that year by year. That's what they told us. Gosh, I guess about 4 years ago when we started planning what we were going to do with the next project. We researched, and our state consultant Leonard McCoy got us, pursuing this modernization program, which that's what we've decided to pursue. With that, we're going to qualify from the state about $4.5 million. But that's not building new. You can't build new and get $4.5 million. And so that sounds kind of backwards, but that's the state's formula and how they fund buildings. And the general way they do that is, how old are the building? How old is the building? How old are all the parts of the building? Well, the main part of James E. Bacon is at his 50-year mark. I think the occupancy, I just got that information a minute ago from our maintenance department. We got in that building in 1967. So that's 50 years.
It was brand new when I moved to Jesup in '68.
Yep. But there's also parts of it that that we still call it the annex building. That was added on later on. I want to say it was in the 80s that we added it on. It was there when I went to, that used to be the old junior high. I heard that question. Why didn't you build that building better? Well, it was never built for an elementary school. It was built for a junior high school, and we've modified it to serve our purposes. But anyway, so parts of it are old, parts of it are new, so you qualify for some money for new, some money not for new. So this modernization project, again, gives us about $4.5 million to do something to James E. Bacon. So we're taking that $4.5 million and have allocated another $7 million out of the next eSPLOST, which is $11.5 million to renovate, modernize, whatever you want to say, that building. We feel confident that, we've already looked at some general plans. It's going to look like a brand new building. It's going to have a new front. We'll take care of all that drop off and pick up, nightmares that we go through every year and do the best we can. We're going to be able to expand the playground. Plans are that's the reason we've moved out of the Board of Education building over there now, because that building, we plan on demoing it to give us some more playground area and also another practice softball area for our girls. Their baseball, softballs on top of each other a little bit with their practice facilities. And so, and they deserve a good practice field. So that area will be expanded out. The front of the building will actually face the tech center. Now we hold our board meetings, and that big old bus parking lot will be kind of the front drop-off pickup area, and there'll be some new construction right there. Now there's a little side playground, I think, where the younger kids play. That will be where new construction with the front of the building, new admin wing, all the support, counselors, assistant principals, nurse, all those things will be in the front. So we feel like $11 million, we'll be able to redo the gym completely, get it air conditioned finally, and it will be on par with the other 4 schools. And
all right, the $64,000 question. When the school was first built and the gym was put down there, they put down that rubber floor. No one had ever seen one like that before.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm just kidding around, Jay. So is that rubber going to be put down? Or
No, we're going to go. We're going to go back. There's a little bit of a push for some new rubber floors, but done some research on that, and I'm not convinced, and the architect doesn't recommend it. It's just, all the other schools have beautiful hardwood floors, and that's...
fall down on it with your knee and slide, and you'll see you'd rather have hardwood.
Yeah, I think that's the plans right now to go back with hardwood.
I'm just kidding around with you on that.
No, but seriously, there is some rubber materials now. In a lot of new schools, I think Long County went with that.
Oh, okay.
So
they are.
But that's got a chance to be a real special gym. It's got such a large shell, so big that I'm excited about that project.
It's modernized and air conditioned, right?
Right. And the last, so that's you can kind of see where the money's going. We just spent $11 million, and we really didn't do a whole lot. But then the last thing I just want to mention today, and I'll get out the way. I know you have another guest.
But we got started early this morning, so we got plenty of time.
Well, our buses, and that's one thing I want people to realize is, if you pass passing the E-Splosh enables us to maintain, if you maintain the penny, we're able to maintain some of the levels of service is what I call it. We're no different than the city or the county. Our bus fleet, we have 71 buses. All right, we have 55 routes, and some of them are smaller buses, and we run some dual routes. Over time, the state of Georgia used to fund, to participate in our funding with everything. They used to send us money for 6 buses. They're sending us money for, I'd say 1 3/4 buses. I say 6 buses. They send you enough money. They want you to put in your fair share, more or less. So we're getting money now for about 1 and maybe 3/4 buses.
Where it used to be 6 new buses.
Correct.
Or
so,
whatever.
Just because we were committed to these buildings, these new schools, we're committed to, maintaining the levels of service, some of the things we're offering our children during the day, that's been neglected. It just has. And we're at the point now where we're throwing good money after bad. For example, we have 24 buses that are over the recommended age for being in rotation. That's 15 years. That means they're over 15 years old. We have 17 buses that are over 18 years old. And so what happens with those buses is that, transmissions, engines, all those things. I'm not talking about maintenance. I'm talking about, large purchases. If you're going to keep the bus, a $25,000, $30,000, transmission or engine for a bus is a lot cheaper than $90,000 for a bus. So that's what we've been doing, but you still have an old bus, and all the things that go. We're just blessed. We have a great, mechanics and maintenance department and David Simmons and all those guys that work out there in the bus barn to keep them on the road. And they have a pretty good cycle. When they get older, they use them in-town routes and that sort of thing. And Wayne County is a huge county. I think it's one, if not the largest county square mileage-wise in the state of Georgia.
I think we're second to where?
Second.
Something like that. Second, third.
We're large.
We're large.
And we run a bus
We've got a lot of swamp.
Yeah, they do. And we run buses pretty much by every house in the whole county. So you think about that. And we really, that's something, I guess if you're going to go by the state law, we don't have to. I can't remember if it's a mile or a mile and a half. If you're a mile and a half away from the school, we actually don't have to run a bus, have a bus that goes by there. We've always chosen to do that, and I think we should, just on the side of safety. I don't know. We want a lot of kids walking. We're just not set up for that, to be totally safe. But again, if we're getting to the point that we're going to have to do something. So again, hopefully people will take that into account when they vote in November to continue the SPLOST, because we are in dire need, and we were planning on buying, to get that route, that fleet back up where it should be, is buying 5 buses a year over the next 5 years. That'll give us 25 new buses, which that'll take care of that 24 that's over the recommended time to retire. But you're looking at, just to give you an idea, a regular bus costs $87,000 today. Now our boys made a choice, and I think it's a good one. We're in 2018 that they want all new buses equipped with air conditioning, and that is a great idea. It serves a lot of other purposes as well, but that's extra $8,000 per bus. So if you do the math on that, that's extra $40,000 out of our allocation for E-SPLOST. Multiply that times 5 years, and that's extra $200,000 that we just spent on that. Now I think that's a good expenditure, but again, it is money. So we're looking at spending almost $2.5 million over the next 5 years just for buses. So
yeah, we all get to that point where we have a vehicle and it's got so many miles on it. Is it worth putting the maintenance in it, or is it worth getting a different vehicle? And I'm sure that y'all have spent a ton of money maintaining these old buses.
We have. And so if you look right there, the quick math on just those three things I mentioned there in 10 minutes, it was $7 million for the James E. Bacon project, 4.3 for pay our fund equity back for the Odom Elementary and Martha Burrell Smith projects, and 2.5 for buses. You're looking at that's almost $12 million right there, and we hadn't even really got into some of the other projects we're trying, that we plan to accomplish with the track. There's just a dire need for our kids. We got one of the best track coaches, and we got kids performing just, at the highest state level. We got to get that where it should be. We've talked about a possible ag facility, and a lot of other projects, but it all depends, how far we can make the dollar go. And the hope is when you continue the eSPLOS, it enables us to take our general budget and some of these other funds and make them go a little bit further. State and federal funds have so many guidelines of what you can spend it on and what you cannot spend it on. You just can't spend any state or federal money at all on athletics, period. For example, that's just one example. That's a no-no, can't happen, can't do it. It has to be totally out of local funds, which local funds are, basically eSPOS funds, or, boosters, or they have to be self-sufficient as in an athletic program themselves when they gate revenue.
Okay.
All right. That's all I really wanted to get in today. And any questions or anything?
Any of the money is going to be spent from the continuation of the eSPLOS, and which is just a continuation. We've been helping these kids out for years and years with the eSPLOS, and hopefully, we'll be able to continue to do that. Any for modernization of technology?
Yes, and that's another big, huge issue, and I want to talk about that next time if I could.
Good. We'll talk about that next time.
Technology is just the day and age we're in now. Going back to James E. Bacon, we're at the point we just had to add some more electricity, more or less, because we couldn't add any more devices. You have to have enough electricity to run the devices, and we were at the point of James E. Bacon we couldn't add any more devices till we added some electricity. So we spent, had to spend money there out of our general budget to get that back up. But the technology folks, they got a pretty good business plan. They know they're going to sell you products after about 3-4 years. It's time you got to buy new. Otherwise, they're not supporting the software, which y'all know. Y'all go through it now.
We do it with here.
Sure.
Cell phones, everything else.
That's just the world we live in, and we certainly want to provide the best opportunities we can for our students, where they're able to get out and compete. They're accustomed to things when they get to college or into the workforce, and they've had those experiences.
All right. School Superintendent Jay Brinson in this morning talking about some of the plans for the continuation of the eSPLOS. The vote comes up in November. A lot of good projects there. And, Jay, we look forward to having you back on. Bob, any final questions or comments for our school superintendent?
Well, just one question I still talk about all the time is the fairest tax everybody has to pay it. The question that needs to be asked is, if they do not pass these laws, what happens then? And the answer I get is most likely the school board will have to raise their millage the following year.
Well, that's a definite possibility. I mean, we're a public school system. We have to serve by law. We have to serve all children. We're going to have school one way or the other, and there's some basic things that we have to do. We have to provide. So yeah, that's certainly an option. That's not the ideal option. This is Jay Brinson speaking. I would love to see the eSPLOS passed, and that enables us to consider even lower millage. We've lowered millage when I first took over with the previous board, I believe. I guess that's been 4-5 years ago. We lowered it, got it down to 18. We were at 20 mills at one time, so we're kind of trying to trickle that thing down, and you certainly don't know what's on the horizon, but if we don't pass it, and a mill doesn't generate 16 million over 5 years, but there'd certainly be some projects that wouldn't get done, and we'd have to look at some cuts.
And one final question, you're allowed to come talk, but the board members aren't really allowed to just say lost that. So you have the chamber helping you out. You have an organization that's going to help get this
Right. We got some
push
people.
it right.
Sure. We got some folks to meet with tomorrow, and there's some other folks that I've got several phone calls of folks that want to help. And we are limited in what we can do. We can give information, but we got to be careful, about promoting, vote yes. That's kind of a no-no. We can't use any kind of school monies to promote voting yes, that sort of thing. Now, we can give information anytime we get ready. And matter of fact, I just met with principals yesterday. We got some flyers and things to make sure our own personnel understand what they can do and what they can't do. And we don't want to paralyze them. We want them to give good information to the voters where they can make an educated vote come November.
Well, like I said, it's 2 months away. You're welcome anytime to come, anytime you need to get information out there. Like I said, with social media now, there's a lot of misinformation out there, so it's good to get the correct information out there. So anytime you need this platform to do that, you see something crazy out there that you need to address,
please
give us a call.
Please give me a call. And y'all do a tremendous service. Y'all always have, and we appreciate it. And that's the power of radio. Y'all are here every day. Folks are listening, and so it takes a while. Sometimes people hear it more than once, but please give me a call. I got my cell phone number on my business cards, and that's disappoints me sometimes when folks. I think I'm a pretty approachable guy. I don't think I'm one of those type of folks, but 294-4571, if you have a question. I have gotten a couple of emails from folks wanting to know some of the details about it, and I appreciate that. I'll be glad to shoot it to them. Sometimes if it's a little more detailed, I might have to call in some help to get the details. We'll be glad to give them to them.
The referendum lays out what the projects are. Where can they get that? Is that on the
Everything's on our website. Yes, sir. Everything's on the website. If you'll go to our, www.wayne.k12.ga.us website.
Or you can just go to information like Google, Yahoo, put that in there, Wayne County school system, and you'll be able to go to it.
All of that.
But it's the projects, and you'll see how the question will be asked on the ballot. So just
there's a link right there that says right there on the very front system-wide page.
And that's what we try to tell folks: get the facts. It's amazing to me how people will read stuff on social media, and for some reason they think it's the gospel. Well, anybody can put anything on there, anytime, in any way, fashion, form, with the facts, not facts, biases, whatever the case may be. So get the facts. Listen to Jay when he comes on here, talk to the principals, go on the line and take a look at everything and get the facts and go from there and make a decision. Jay, we appreciate you coming in. Thank you, General, for having you back on again. School Superintendent Jay Brinson of Wayne County. Wayne County is in here this morning, and Jay, we hope you have a good day.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Is your phone going off already?
It is.
All right. Well, we've got another guest in the green room out there, and we'll have him on in just a moment, in hopefully about just 1 minute.
Murphy's Builder Supply is where you need to go for all your home improvement projects and hardware needs. They've been serving folks in this area since 1946. Murphy's offers some products and services that you may not know about. They now sell ammunition, both bullets and shells. Murphy's also sells personalized tags for dog collars. They build customized screens for windows and doors. Murphy's can read key locks, and of course they can make keys. They cut glass for windows, plus Murphy's has monthly doorbuster specials. Check their Facebook page to see what's on sale. Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jesup.
Andrew Kenny here. It's summertime in South Georgia, and the only thing hotter than being outside is the hot deals at Mike Birch Ford. With up to $12,000 off new F-150s, there's no better time than now to purchase the truck of your dreams. So stop the search and call Mike Birch Ford today. Andrew Kenny here. It's summertime in South Georgia, and the only thing hotter than being outside is the hot deals at Mike Birch Ford. With up to $12,000 off new F-150s, there's no better time than now to purchase the truck of your dreams. So stop the search and call Mike Birch Ford today.
WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio, world famous Butch and Bob Show for this Thursday morning. And Bob, another guest here on the show.
As we've been reporting, we've got 5 write-in candidates come November. We have one in the studios with us. Mr. Freddie Coley's decided to run as a write-in candidate in District 3. And Freddie, appreciate you being here. First of all, tell us why you decided to run as a write-in candidate.
Well, I'm children's pastor at my church. We were in service a few weeks ago, and I was looking at the kids, and I got to thinking about it. If this bill passes, what about their future? It's going to affect us right now, but that's going to affect them also.
If what bill passes?
Not the bill. I'm sorry. The $5 billion. The $5 million increase.
That's already passed.
It's passed, right? But what I'm saying is that's going to affect them, and I saw somewhere where several people that had graduated a year or so ago had moved away. out of a class. Most of that class have moved away. You know, I've lived in Wayne County all my life, and I want this to be a place of growth. I want this to be a place to where people want to live here. They want to shop here. They want to play here. You know, I listen to you guys all day talk about shop local. You know, and it's sad to when we do go like to Brunswick or to Hinesville, and like y'all just said a while ago with the East Bluffs, we're paying that tax over there. So I feel like Wayne County, I've been here all my life. It's all I know. And I feel like it's something that I need to do to get in and try to help them.
People need to realize the more shopping they do here in Wayne County, the less taxes we'll have to have in millage rate, and more the economy will be better.
Exactly.
You know, more jobs, which means more, people buying stuff, more houses. Just buy in Wayne County as much as you possibly can.
Exactly.
It'll help the economy big time.
Exactly. And that's what we do. You know, we shop local. I drive every day to Baxley to work. You know, and I get lunch or whatever, I get gas or whatever. I try to do as much here as I can, like gas up here or whatever. But, you know, a lot of people are going out of town to work. There's Brunswick, there's Baxley, Hinesville. And, you know, part of the district that I have is on the way to Brunswick. My wife and I were out riding the other afternoon, and we were riding toward Brunswick out in that way. And there's perfect places for businesses out there. There's the railroad goes that way. There's water supplies out that way. I mean, I don't see why we can't do something here to bring those businesses to Wayne County.
If you just join us, Freddie Coley, we assume everybody knows who everybody is. So there's a lot of people out there don't know who Freddie Coley is. So you mentioned you grew up here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, your family.
My wife and I, we've lived here all our life. I'm married to Candace Coley. I've lived here forever. Went to school here. I work in finance right now, banking and finance, but I'm also the children's pastor at Unity Church of God. And I have a son that's in high school here, and he's a senior this year, and I have another son that's a junior. And most everybody through on Facebook knows me or whatever, but I'm just a Wayne County person, Wayne County born and bred.
In which district are you going to be a write-in candidate for?
3.
And what is District 3? What is that area?
It is the Agardie area, Doctortown, Anderson Drive, up to Rainier Road till about Fanny Head Road, I believe.
Okay, and the incumbent in that area is?
Mike Roberts.
Okay. Just trying to get people to understand what that district is. Okay.
And if you were elected and get on the board, what do you see are the solutions to the financial problem?
First off, we've got to sit down and somebody sent me the budget. We just got to look through the budget. If there's any fat there that could be trimmed, we need to do that. There may be tough decisions to make. Whoever is on that seat is going to have to make tough decisions. The decision that they made the other day was a tough decision. But, I mean, we've just got to get in. We've just got to crunch the numbers and just see where we can cut. I've looked at Mr. Ralph's plan. It's a good plan.
Ralph Hickok,
the county commissioner. I've looked at his plan. And there are some, you know, if that plan was to go into effect, there are some tough decisions that we have to see. I've listened to the show, and I've heard y'all talk about when the teachers did their furlough dates. That's not something that somebody wants to do, but it's a tough decision that might have to be made.
Like I said, I was just pointing out for the mere fact that that's what they did, and they saved $10 million in 4 years. They didn't increase the millage. They just had to bit the board, which was a tough time because I know families were, as I mentioned on the show, both the husband and wife are educators.
Right.
And they both lost paychecks. So, I mean, now they're going to get hit with a $5 million increase. They're like, man, we got a double whammy on that. So I was just, I asked, I think Ralph said the other day, asked him again, there hasn't been any discussion about the furlough. I mean, he hasn't been
Not at
plans,
all.
but
Right.
no, they're not discussing that at all. So I just didn't understand why one entity decided to go that way, but the other entity's not even discussing. So
I guess they don't want to hurt families in some sort of way or individuals.
Right, and I also want to be held accountable. I want to be transparent. You know, if it's happening, the people need to know. They need to know what's going on in their county. I believe in transparency. You know, at my job, even as children's pastor, I'm held accountable for what I do, the actions that I make, or actions that I do, I'm sorry. And, you know, I personally, if somebody's got a problem with me, come to me, talk to me. I've put my phone number out there. I'll give it today. It's 912-415-2994. call me, text me. I'm on Facebook. I started a Facebook page for write-in candidacy.
And what is that Facebook page?
It's Freddie Coley.
And how do you spell your Freddie?
Freddie.
Okay.
Coley, and it's District 3 County Commissioner write-in.
Okay.
And I'm going to be out and about, especially this Saturday. I'm going to be out and about visiting some of the people. I will say this: when I didn't see anybody come to my door when the election was, and I'm not taking a shot at anybody. I don't want anybody to think that, but I want to get out there and meet the people. I want to know who's in my district. You know, a lot of people have come up to me that I've never met before. I was just in a restaurant last night. Somebody come up to me, you know, hey, I live in your district, and they were talking to me. I want to know who these people are.
I don't have Facebook. Bitch doesn't have Facebook. Somebody said you already posted something on Facebook, and somebody said, Trina, you said something about back taxes. Your back taxes, is that true?
It is.
Well, that's a big part of the issue. So people say, why would I vote for somebody that's, you know, that's part of the problem. That's not the solution.
Well, like I put on my live, we do have some back taxes, my wife and I. But as far as doing a budget, and that's why I believe in the transparency, we had to go through a period where I had somebody in my family to have a serious medical issue. We had to do that. My wife had to stop working. We were coming up. I had to take a lot of time off. We had sick time built, but we used that. And there were times that we were having paychecks of about $12, and that's no exaggeration. And we had to decide what to do. But when we found out that the taxes were going to go delinquent, we went to the tax office. We sit down with them and we come up with a plan, and we were making payments. Now my wife has just graduated her RN. She's working as an RN. I'm working full time. That issue's took care of. And before I ever even thought about running for county commissioner, we were paying bigger in chunks. We set on with our personal budget in our house. We set on. We have a course to where those taxes will be paid before November. That was decided. That was set up way before I even thought about running for county commissioner.
Okay.
This is a push now. You know, these people that decide to run in at the last minute. I mean, the election's Tuesday, November 6th. Early voting starts 3 weeks before that. So how do you get around the district that quickly? How do you get the message out? Or do you think there's so many people angered at the 5 mil increase that it'll spark interest in your campaign?
Just be out in the public as much as possible. Facebook and the internet's a powerful thing now. You know, almost everybody has Facebook. Just going out and about every chance they can.
Well, you've got one, but you're the minority in this room.
I know. Yeah.
I do not want that drama. And then, of course, I have personal feelings about the management and owners of the Facebook and their views on social issues and other things.
It can be drama, I promise you. But I'm just going to be out as much as possible. You know, out in the district, out at events, things that are happening to town, or whatever. People that know me will tell you that I stay out all the time anyway. I'm always doing something. And I just, like I said a while ago, I just want to shake as many hands, talk to as many people as possible.
Did you go to any public hearings on it?
I didn't get to go to any public hearings. I did watch the last one on when it was broadcast live, but I didn't get to go. I won't be able to go tonight because of work. But I'm hoping that I've talked to somebody. They said they were going to try to broadcast it, so I will be watching.
Yeah, there'll be somebody holding up a cell phone.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Appreciate you coming in on the show.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
Have a good day. All right, Bob, that's it. The world famous Butch and Bob Show this morning. World famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by Mike Birch Ford in Blackshear and by Murphy Builder Supply located on Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jesup. 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country, WIO.